Welcome to Smack Talk with Alex Volkanovski, UFC 316 coming up. We're going to get to that in a moment. But you, as always, living the exciting life. You had Israel Adesanya on the farm.
Yes, we did. He's been doing a bit of like a farm tour. He was over there at Sean O'Malley's at their farm. And he come over. He was over here in Sydney doing I think he was here for a movie premiere, and thought he'd come down, do a bit of training, get on the farm, try and whistle at some of the cows. Didn't really be very successful with that. I don't know if you've seen that, but yeah, it was good. It was good to have him around. It's always good to catch up, but yeah, even get some good training with him.
Did he get the rifle out at all?
We didn't get the rifles out. No, not this time. No, we didn't get to do any hunting, unfortunately. But we got to eat some of the deer that I got the week before.
Are there any deer left? I feel like every second post
There's
you make
too many of them, so it's all right. You won't run out. Don't worry about that.
What about the last time we spoke was pre-Jack Della Maddalena's fight? Mm-hmm. He's now the champion. How special was that? He's a guy that you've trained with. He's a guy that you've known for a long time. How did that feel, and how did you watch it?
Oh, mate, it was unreal. Unreal to see. A great dude and an incredible fighter. So I knew that he would be a problem for Bilal. I thought he would maybe have to stop a few takedowns or scramble back to his feet early in the rounds. Mate, he was stopping them from the get-go. And as soon as I've seen that, and I've seen how comfortable he was on the feet, that's one thing that some people really struggle with. When they've got a wrestler in front of them, they start to worry so much about the wrestling that they pull off their striking, right? They're a bit more hesitant and, they don't really fight their fight. But he was like, all right, I'm just going to strike, do my thing, and then I'll worry about the takedown when it comes. And that's why he was so successful from the start on the feet. And you've seen him start landing. Obviously, Bilal's tough and still well-rounded and did okay, but he was just too much.
How did you watch it?
Hey?
How did you watch it?
How did I watch it?
On the farm with the family?
On the farm, yeah. I think... who was I? I was probably by myself watching that one, actually. I don't know. Another missus watching it with me as well. But it was cool. It was cool to see. Again, did a bit of training with him in that camp. So I knew he was doing a bit of training with Craig. We got to work a little bit. So I knew he was pointed in the right direction, and he obviously just
pointed in the right direction. And Craig Jones is always an interesting...
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to jiu-jitsu and grappling, all right, he might point you in the right direction. Everything else, don't take advice from Craig Jones. Maybe not the best idea.
Oh, God. With Jack, what about Bilal? You called him out on the podcast the week before. You said you didn't like him at all. He goes and gets beaten by an Aussie. How do you think he's feeling right now?
Yeah, I feel bad for him. Yeah, man. Look,
he gets a bad rap online.
Well, I mean, he always has. I think now he got a bit of respect though. Like, he was able, even though he wasn't able to take him down, he still tried to stand and bang. He wasn't so persistent. And, he's like, oh, I can't get the takedown. I'll try on the feet. But yeah, so you got to give him credit. He was tough. He took some big shots and kept coming forward. So credit to him. I think he got a bit of respect from that, and I think he'll be back. But I mean, I just think Jack's got his number, and Jack's only going to get better from me. He's probably fighting Islam now, right? I think that was an incredible fight for him, for his confidence. To all that early preparation with to prepare for Bilal is going to help that preparation for Islam. But not only that, the confidence that he would have got, like, oh yeah, I'm very hard to take down. You know what I mean? And I know this from. I've always known that I was hard to take down, but after the Islam fight, I was like, oh man, my takedown defense went up a whole nother level because of the confidence. So positions, I didn't have to commit too much on, sprawling and all that because I was so confident in my base where I just felt like I could do so much more with less effort. And if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then able to, so I'm like wrestling guys that are legit wrestlers and they can have a clean double, single, even double leg, and I'm like, you ain't getting this. So that barely, almost feels like I'm not even trying. So I don't know how that feels for them, but for me, I'm just like, so I'm quite successful with it. So a lot of that come in from the confidence from, taking on a fight like that, and I think that's going to be crucial for the lead up to Islam.
So right now we've got you, champ, we've got Jack, champ. Who's the next person, whether it be someone already in the UFC, whether it's a young kid coming through, who's the next person that we can start to really pay attention to that could be the next champ at any given level?
Oh, man, there's so many. When it comes to Australia, obviously, Kai's New Zealand. He's fighting in International Fight Week. So he's got a good chance. But, man, we've got so many talented guys. We've got some guys that are coming through. I still think Steve Ersak is a chance. He is that good. He just, probably rose to it that little bit too early. But he'll bounce back. And then you've got so many. You've got your Jack Jenkins. You've got Quillen, I'll say, I won't even bother with the last name. I know him, I'm just terrible with the last name. I mean, we've got so much coming through. And then we've got guys that aren't even in the UFC. Some of the training partners that I have even in my gym that aren't even in the UFC, I guarantee you they're going to be world champions. They're going to be in the UFC and be the top dogs. I truly do believe that. So it just shows you the depth we have in Australia.
That's what's going to be crazy, because in any given sport, in basketball, you see guys make it to the NBA, all of a sudden the grassroots starts to gain momentum. It still feels like we're in the infancy of Australian MMA. You look at, we've got 2 champions. The more this stuff grows, can you feel that at the grassroots level, now that we're winning championships on the international level, that there's more guys getting involved in BJJ, there's more guys doing MMA, there's more guys down at freestyle, the youth coming in, getting started at a super young age?
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. You even just watching the local shows. You'll go there and you watch your Hex or your Eternal shows, and the talent that you're seeing on there, like you're looking at UFC world champion level type fighting. Like, and I mean, like, that's the skill set is like right up there. It's just, sometimes you need that little bit more, but it just shows you having these guys with this, like when I was going up, it was like if you're a good wrestler and you try to, and you had your strengths and you had to focus on that. I was quite well-rounded, but you watch even my amateur fights or early pro fights to the guys now, miles ahead when it comes to skill. I've just always had that mongrel and, never die attitude and all that, which is what you need to have on top of the skills. Nowadays, you're going to need both. Skills will only get you so far, and probably that ticker will only get you so far as well. So if we find, we've got that many athletes coming through with all them skills, you get the right mindset in one of those, mate, you're going to get a world champion for sure. And stick with us at Freestyle Fighting Gym. We'll get you there, don't worry.
That's it. What about, that's grassroots, that's upcoming. You've reached the pinnacle of Wollongong. You got the key to the city. Now, I've never understood the full what the key to the city actually entails, but here we go. You look at getting it from the mayor right here, who looks very familiar from somewhere as well. I'm not sure where I've seen her before, but you got the key to the city. What do you do with that now? What does that actually have any sort of, like, I know it's got a lot of meaning to it, but does it grant you any access that us common men don't have?
I'm allowed to park wherever I want.
Can you actually?
No, I can't. Oh. You're like, can you actually? That's actually pretty good. I mean, I might actually hit him up and be like, look, I think Keys of the City should give me free parking anywhere, you know what I mean? Even just an island strip, whatever. It doesn't matter. If there's no parking, let me just park wherever I can. I think that's fair. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, maybe it's not fair. I don't know. I'm everyone knows what I'm like. I don't want no special treatment.
You said you wanted the park, you wanted all this stuff. You said the key wasn't enough for you backstage. Changing it up now.
But again, it's cool though. Obviously, it was an honour to get that. It just feels complete now. I've always had the support. The support's always been incredible there in the Illawarra, Wollongong back home. But then you just had, when it comes to those side of things, like, people like that are up there and not wanting to give you the keys of the city because they think we're a bunch of thugs.
That happened, didn't it?
That is what happened, yeah. Like the previous, I'm not going to mention names, but I mean, the previous guy wasn't into it. And that changed up. Obviously, everyone else supported me, but sometimes it's just one guy that doesn't like it and didn't want to evolve with how the world is. Like, this sport is growing so much, but he just didn't want to give it a chance. He just looked at us all as thugs. Didn't care about who I was and what I represented. He just looked at it as a blood sport, and that was it, and didn't want to give it a chance. And which I just think, like, a person in that position, like, is like, we're just going to be old school forever as well. Like, we need to be able to, you got to go with the times, right? And if you're going to just think like that, you're not the man for the job.
And who would have thought he got ousted as the mayor? So now, there we go. Finally.
You know what I mean? I had a couple of words to people in the books.
Let's jump. UFC 316. We'll jump into the first fight on the card and give us your preview here. Vincent Luque taking on Kevin Holland, who I absolutely love Kevin Holland in this one. He comes into this one as a pretty heavy favourite. Where do you see this one sitting?
Kevin Holland's a heavy favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's just so dangerous. Vicente, I think, he's very well-rounded. He's good. I haven't looked at previously, because it doesn't seem like he's fought too much lately. I think he's had a bit of a bad run, like if you're looking at his last few fights. And I just think against someone so dangerous like Kevin Holland, I think it's, not a guy that you want to be in, to go. I don't think he finishes Kevin Holland, so he's going to be in there and a chance of getting caught that whole time. And if you've been getting caught previously, Kevin Holland's not a man you want to be in front of. So I just think that stylistically this could be and timing could be a bad one for Vicente. But he was like, the way he started, the trajectory for him looked like he was going to be a world champion, and then just had a bit of a bad run. But that's his sport, man. All it takes is one loss, and then it just, things can crumble. But yeah, I think that's going to be a tough one for him.
Perfect. What about the next one? Bautista taking on Patchy Mix, the best name currently in the UFC.
It is a pretty cool name. So I've trained with Patchy Mix. He's actually a great, world-class grappler. When you hear people, they're going to sit there going, yeah, he hasn't faced the level of competition because, where he was. Yeah, he was a world champion there, but not here in the UFC. But he's faced world champion or world champion level when it comes to grappling, because he's a world champion when it comes to grappling, and he goes and he trains with everyone. I train with him. I know he's trained with Marab. He just literally loves training and wants to just grapple and wrestle everyone. So that level is right up there. We know that for a fact, but we'll just see how it all blends together. But I mean, for me, I think it's definitely going to be a Patchy Mix win.
What about the different competitions within the MMA world? We spoke about grassroots and how it's coming up, and especially in Australia, there's more and more guys getting into fighting at a young age. Is there a world where a Bellator or one championship can eventually challenge the UFC, or is it kind of like, the NBA and the NBL? It's going well, but you're just not going to be able to get all the way there.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be tough. The production that the UFC do, and then, the roster. It's just, and they've, through the years, they've just been able to do it on their nail, and they're still really committed to always try and up the year before the previous year. So it's going to be very tough. A lot of promotions have tried and not really hit the mark. It's just going to be impossible. Obviously, you need the money to do it, and then it's so much more than that as well. You need the right people running it, and then it's going to take time. So it's just, I don't know. I can't see it happening anytime soon anyway. I think, you see in the boxing, they're sort of taking over with the fights. They could do that, I feel like, because all of a sudden they're getting the best fighting of the best, where it was always hard to do, and they're stacking cards, which promotions never did in the boxing world. So now the money can go there and put all these events on with all these massive fights and make the best fight the best, because they're throwing the money at the athletes. So I felt like they could do it in boxing, but MMA, I just think it's going to be hard, because we've always sort of done that. The best fight the best. We've got a ranking system, we stick to it. I just don't know how you can top that model.
And Dana White's playing it pretty safe as well. I feel like he's done the smart move, been on the good side of everyone over there in Saudi Arabia, instead of trying to compete with them like they have in boxing. I want to ask you as well, just a random one. Outside of the money, which is the obvious one, what's the biggest perk of being a UFC champion?
Oh, man, there's a few things. Obviously, before you start making the money and all that, we all know that you're not making incredible money at the start, right? They cop a bit of flack about that. But it's, and they're always going to come down to exposure and all that. So you can use a platform. There's a lot of people watching. You go and you put a highlight reel finish, you can be a superstar overnight, you know what I mean? So I think it is the exposure. I think that's definitely going to play a big part. But yeah, so with the pay, that takes time. But I mean, I think you're going to have to go with exposure. When you've got that many eyes on the sport and, the social media platforms and all that, I think it's something that you could definitely capitalise on. And you see a lot of fighters do that. They do it well. I've never really cared too much about that. I just was me through the whole process. Some people like to play the game, and like to play up to the cameras, do that, even change their fighting style to get the finishes, knowing that can fast track them to this. And it works, right? But it's just, it's not my thing, but I mean, it's definitely, I would have to say exposure.
What about, we spoke about Patchy Mix before. Now, that's a fantastic name, but it's not as much a nickname. Nicknames can be given by fans, they can be by coaches, whoever are people at the gym. But there are some nicknames in the MMA world which are absolutely just insane. So what we're going to do is we're going to blind rank.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 5 different nicknames. You don't know what's coming next, and you got to rank it on how high you think it is on the list.
Oh, okay. So, all right, there's probably going to be some wild ones, I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
So you're getting everyone or UFC fighters?
No, this is in the MMA world. There's some
MMA world, it's going to get wild. So I'm going to start, Yeah,
and there's a lot of them we had to leave out as well. There are some grotesque nicknames that I don't know how they even made it out of prison with these sort of names.
And in the comment section, see if you can find the ones that we had to had to literally delete.
Comment your best ones outside of this that we can't have on a betting show.
Legally not allowed to have on.
Ready to go? Violent Bob Ross, Lewis Pena.
Violent Bob Ross.
Violent Bob Ross. Do you know who Bob Ross is?
Bob Ross. What does that sound? Yeah, that sounds
Bob Ross, he's the painter who had the afro sort of thing like that, but he definitely wasn't a violent dude.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. I'm going to put that at 5. I reckon we're going to get a lot better than that.
I don't mind that one.
You don't mind that one, really?
I don't mind that one. You know, it's not my ranking.
I don't know enough of it, so for me, I'm going to go 5.
Violent Bob Ross. Matthew the Care Bear Perry.
Matthew the Care Bear Perry. See, I don't mind that one. I don't see. The thing is, I feel like there's going to be some crazy ones. The Care Bear.
Would that intimidate you?
It would. That's a silent killer right there, I reckon. You know what I mean? You know, he's a Care Bear. You know, outside of fighting, outside of the octagon. So I'm gonna go 4. I don't mind that one. I'm going 4. So that's showing you that I'm expecting. I've got high hopes for this list.
Jeff, scary nickname Nader.
Scary nickname Nader. Well, there you go.
He looks like a Jeff Nader.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to go 3. I'm just going down right now. throw me something here. Come on, man.
I'm tempted to just completely make one up here and throw you off. Ian, Uncle Creepy McCall.
Ooh, Uncle Creepy. Ian McCall. Was that? I know him. Was that his nickname?
Yeah. Uncle Creepy.
He fought in the UFC.
Yeah. Do you want to maybe ask him how he got that?
Uncle Creepy. Are you serious? Damn. All right. I think that's going to go number 1. I should have done this. I'm telling you, I should have stuck to it. But I wanted to change it up. You know what? I ain't going to let you make me change it up. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go 2 because I reckon the next one's going to be a banger. So Uncle Creepy's hard to beat, though.
Uncle Creepy's tough to beat.
That's when I say beat, as in like it's creepy.
We probably should have done some research on how he got the nickname Uncle Creepy.
Well, that's right up there. But you know what? Well? We just gone 5, 4, 3, 2. I went to 2.
You've just reverse ordered this whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go. Maybe you should have explained it better.
That is true.
You know what I mean? I reckon you thought that, you went worst to best.
Yeah.
And I'm just good in my rankings, and that's exactly how I put it.
Last one. Rick, the ginger with the intent to injure, Pyer.
Yes, that's heaps good. I love it. There you go. That's number 1 right there. I think I did all right.
You've just gone 5 through to 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, I reckon that's fair. I mean, you like the Bob Ross one, though.
I like Violent Bob Ross because I know who Bob Ross is.
Okay, so that probably could have changed. Some people may agree with you there.
But ginger with the intent to injure.
I'm not mad with that ranking system.
Who out of current UFC fighters, who would have... I'm trying to think of who would have the best... Yours is good, but yours is good in the sense that it's just a good nickname. Kind of the notorious McGregor, like that. These just work.
They work, yes.
You want ones that suck, and you get stuck with it your whole career.
I mean, there was another Care Bear. I swear there was another Care Bear that I remember. Pooh Bear was there. I think. Was that what he did? Because on my team, I don't think that was what it was though. I don't know. I couldn't. There's definitely a few. I'm trying to think of some in the UFC. I know there's.
I'd be shocked if there was another Care Bear out there that could have just been.
I don't think it's it's not Winnie the Pooh, or maybe it was Pooh Bear. I don't know.
What about this one? Fight number 3, Kevin Gastelon taking on Joe Pyer. Pyer, a very, very short favourite again.
Yeah, so Gastelon, man, I still feel like in some of his last few fights, he still looked okay, like in some of them. And, I thought some of them that he won. I thought it was close fights and he didn't get the decision. I can't remember his last fight. I probably should have looked at that one, but I'm pretty sure from what I remember.
He fought Care Bear.
Care Bear. I'm pretty sure from what I remember, I don't think it was that bad. Oh, man. You know I love an underdog, right? But I think Pyer. I think Pyer was going to get it done. But, I mean, underdog pick. Everyone knows I like an underdog pick. I think Gastelon.
Have you ever picked a favourite?
Have I ever picked a favourite?
I don't think you've ever picked a favourite.
Me?
Yeah, or you might have picked one.
I picked
and it was
favourites,
accidental. We thought it was the underdog and it
okay, yeah. No, I'll pick favourites here and there. When I know it's like, a shoe-in. But I reckon here, an underdog, you could go that one, but I am going to go the favourite. I think Pyer will win. I think there's a reason why he is a favourite. But I just like to say, if you said he's a hot favourite, so there's a big underdog pick right there. I think definitely could get a decision, even a finish. He's got some hands as well. He's got good wrestling. He's well-rounded. Still got a good chin, you know what I mean? So I think that's one you could keep an eye out on.
Well, we're going to cut to a break, and on the back of it, the main event and a bit of cheese rolling. Here we go, the co-main event. Now, I'm interested to see whether you go underdog on this one as well, because it's a long, long price. Juliana Pena taking on Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, so it's a tricky one. I think it can be done for Pena. Like, I truly do think that early on, Kayla Harrison's going to be too strong. I think physically she's going to be a lot stronger. You're going to see that noticeably probably at the start. But Juliana, she's awkward. She's tough. And she's quite fit. And she does a lot of wall wrestling and all that. So she's pretty good there. But again, I just think physically Kayla's going to be a lot stronger. You're going to see that earlier. But them later rounds is where she can come back. So am I going to pick her though? I just think that, again, when I say underdog pick, this is definitely something that, you know what, I'm going to go with it. I think she loses significantly.
$5.
$5. So
I believe.
I think a decision. I think she can maybe take the last 3 rounds. I think the first 2 rounds you're going to see Kayla being significantly better, but I think you might start to see it. But does she slow down after the 3 rounds and then she loses the decision? I don't know, but I think at $1.15 or whatever it is, you know what I mean, like whatever she's paying, it's too risky to go for the favourite there, even though I would, you know, statistically or percentage-wise, say Kayla would win, but I think where the money's at, it would have to be Pena, and I think she can get it done.
What I've learned in this caper is you trust the opinion of a fighter over the data nerds that sit upstairs and make these prices. So I'm going with you on this one.
I think so. Again, you've got to remember, it's a big underdog. Don't hold me to it. But it's something that can happen. And like when it happens, I'll be like, oh, I knew I seen that happen. You know, it's one of those ones.
What about, let's just move off a little bit. Cooper's Hill, Gloucester, I believe it is. Gloucester.
That's somewhere in England or something.
England. Do you know what happens there?
No.
Something that may be even tougher than what you do, Volk. Let's have a look at this. The cheese rolling. Now, people roll down this hill chasing this block of cheese. Now, you're coming off a fight where you took a little bit of damage. Do you think these people have come off worse than what you have?
Are they meant to be rolling? Is the idea to roll down, or can they go down however they want?
You got to get down and get there. You got to be the first to get to the cheese. Now, check out Ty the Cheese Wizard.
He's dead. He might be dead.
I don't think we've checked, have we?
I mean, are we allowed to show that?
Nah, he walked away. He walked away from that.
There's no way he walked away from that, man. I'm telling you, he's still hurting from that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's insane, mate. What are they chasing? Some cheese?
Some cheese.
I'll just give you some cheese, mate. Why are you doing that? I'll give you a big chunk of cheese, mate.
How is he not? Yeah, and he walked away from that. Ty the Cheese Wizard.
That is way worse than fighting.
100%.
100%. I mean, I guarantee you see them first couple of rolls, there was already concussions there.
Yeah.
That big one was a near-death experience. If he lived through that, credit to him, he's a tough man.
He legitimately walked away.
You're just saying that?
No. Legally, I have to say you walked away.
We're saving our ass here. Yeah, all right. But, mate, that's insane. That's insane.
Hey, after you finish, you know, I always think after you finish as a UFC fighter, how do you match that rush?
I'll try and look for a good rush, but I'm going to make sure I'm keeping the strikes to the head or the contact to the head at a minimum. But I mean, yeah, maybe swim with sharks and do all that sort of stuff. They could probably do a lot of damage, but I'll probably try and protect the head.
Yeah, all right. Swim with the sharks in a cage, avoid the cheese rolling. What about the main event?
If they take an arm, a limb, it's all right. At least
you got 4 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You can lose one. You don't need to fight
4 arms, dude. You have 4 arms.
What about the main event? What about the main event? Marab and Sugar Sean O'Malley. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yes, this one's going to be a fun one. I know we've just seen it not too long ago. I think we're going to see a similar sort of fight. We're just going to see Sean make them adjustments and be that little bit more dangerous and probably not as hesitant. He's going to know what Marab brings. I think he's going to... Look, if he starts hesitating, worrying so much about the takedown, you're going to see the exact same thing. You'll see the exact same thing. But it's... I think he might let his hands go a little bit more. He might trust that he's can get back to his feet. But Marab, his cardio... if you are going to fight that type of fight and you are going to pull the trigger more, I think he's going to be more dangerous, but there's a chance of him getting more tired than he even did before. Because he's not being hesitant, he's not holding back. Now he's trying to pull the trigger, which makes him more dangerous, but if he doesn't get the job done early, Marab's just going to end up washing over him in the last couple. So it's who's the favourite in this one? Do we know the favourite?
This one is Marab. Pretty heavy favourite again.
Pretty heavy favourite. I think he should be the favourite. I'm going to go with Marab because I think, we did see it not that long ago. I will go the favourite. But again, coward. Look, O'Malley, I think we are going to see a bit of a different O'Malley, but I just think the way Merab is, his fitness, and he's safe enough a lot of the times. And he's getting even better than he was before. Before, he wasn't as safe. Now, he's a lot more strategic in his defense and approach, and that's going to be crucial in this one.
What about for you? Where are you headed next?
Where am I headed next? So, as you've seen, you've got a lot of people, or you've got Mobzar, not Mosvar, Mobzar, talking about him having to fight again. I thought it should be Mobzar, but it's not. So I think they're going to push Yair, which is, a tricky one. Again, I'm happy for the guy. I don't want to take any opportunities from anyone I like. But, we'll see what happens. Nothing's booked, but it would have to be later in the year. We'll see what happens. But, I think that's where it's looking more pointed towards that direction.
And you still want, 3 more fights. You want to keep this thing rolling, especially while you got the belt.
Of course, you want to, you know what I mean? Yeah, mate. Yeah, money too, to get that money. And I want to add to that legacy as well. That's why I thought Movzar would be great.
Yeah.
I've already beat him, but in saying that, he's an exciting fighter, and we'll see what happens.
Perfect. Alex, you've been absolutely fantastic as always. We've got 2 champs, and from what we've spoken about, we've got a whole more coming through the grassroots who are all going to sign up to Freestyle MMA over there in the Gong, aren't they? Thank you.
They will.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.